You know who irritates me from the very trenches of my soul? Grammar Nazis. You know, the people who in the absence of an intelligent argument will stifle, sniper, every single misspelling and missing capital letter after a period. 2 words. Convict clues, context clues, words. Are really hard. It's like that Drake song. Started from the bottom, now we're here. It's a long way from where I started. My high school counselors basically told me to my face that I wasn't gonna be shit. The first girl that I ever wrote a love letter to responded by saying, "You write like a toddler." She laughed as she read every spelling and grammar mistake in front of a cackling chorus of schoolgirls, and since that day I haven't been able to unwrite the rejection. I have dyslexia. A disorder that involves being ridiculed, a difficulty reading and writing. A 2015 study conducted by the Hessinger Report noted that black males are more likely than any other demographic to be placed in special education. Their success rates, however, are far less than that of their peers. In Wisconsin, while 84% of special ed students who managed to get a diploma in 4 years, only 54% of their black peers have managed to do so. In special ed classrooms, it's too often seen that the problems faced by dyslexic students are often exasperated instead of solved. So through the poems In Dyslexia by R.J. Wright, Ambitious by Alex Thomas, Insecurities Surrounding Special Education by David Dahmer, and Changing the Narrative Around Black Males with Dyslexia by Rodney Sidney, we will look at the problems faced by these students, and also the hope that can lie ahead. Underprivileged and underperforming. Because in an activity where words are key, it's important to know that they don't come so easily for all of us. To be dyslexic is to be a grown man who's still afraid to read out loud. It is to see the the red and green lines below your words as wounds that you can bandage with spell check. It is to call autocorrect Judas, but know your mind is the betrayer, and my mind plays tricks on me, and I can still read my Facebook status 500 times and still not catch my error. My error of my not catched. I need to make words stop crashing into each other. During elementary school, I remember being called at the front of the classroom to solve a math problem 3 times 3. I shyly made my way to the board, but was glued there because the 3s looked like E's. I stood in a trance where my classmates giggled and attempted to contain their laughter. My teacher tried to assist me with the math problem, and I knew she wanted to help me with the learning problem, but she couldn't. Because school was an exercise in ridicule, repetition. Teachers would rather throw me a ball than help me understand a book. Felt like I was being trained to sit, to roll over, to good dog. Teachers saw me as the runt of the litter, so I was the student that they seldom called on. But my classmates never stopped calling me slow, short but stupid. I hate feeling. For a long time, I resented my father. He was the one who signed the papers that allowed the school to place me in the slow classes. And my mom kept telling me that schools were putting black boys in special education for money, but now I see why my father did what he did. He was scared. He feared me becoming another statistic, another body shuffled through the school to prison pipeline. I pretty much got passed through the system like the majority of black males in special education. They just stick you in, push you through, and when you get out, then what? Sometimes, when you look at the graduation rates, they may seem all good, but are people really looking at the reading rates of the students who graduate? They could be 4 or 5 years behind in reading and still graduate. It makes the schools look real good. But these kids ain't really prepared for the real world, because the negative perception that portrays black males with dyslexia is a deception. An overreaction by teachers leads to criminalization and legal actions instead of teaching fractions, hows, and special education with days of frustration, feeling rejected from many years of being academically rejected, curriculum that isn't particular to advance academically, but I feel like they're experimenting on another level chemically. I was tired of being placed in the low track classes. The track where teachers spent more time managing than they did teaching. And it felt like I was being set up to fail because I'd have to be the class clown to fit in, and that was the one thing that I did well. During my 8th grade pre-algebra class, I would throw spitballs and crack jokes and disrupt class daily, and one day my teacher had enough and told the entire class that none of us were going to college. So I learned to be the the class clown, to make myself a joke before anyone else could, but sometimes the laughter still sounds like sick, like bad dog, like roll over, like you're still stupid. It makes me want to chew on the throats of the people who invalidate my existence because they use the wrong your, but I can't. Because I'm black in America, so I can't give them another excuse to put me down. What is being black in America if not an exercise in editing oneself? When my teacher told us that none of us were going to college, I decided right then and there that I was going to prove her and anyone else who didn't believe in me wrong. The ones in special education have an opportunity to shine and can redefine the stereotypes that have left them behind. The gatekeepers don't see you as a high achiever, yet it is possible to receive special education services, graduate, and narrate your own story, to refute the mainstream fraudulent notion that assumes black males with dyslexia are left with no room to bloom. My first recommendation for parents and teachers who want to support the development of African Americans with learning disabilities is to take a specific interest in them. Mr. Rogers said it best. Frankly, there isn't anyone you couldn't learn to love after you've heard their story. Each one of our students has a unique story, one that deserves to be heard and appreciated. I mean, my best teachers are the ones who told me they loved me, the ones who said, "You are gifted. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are a success story in the making." And I know I am. Because my method of choice is a qualitative approach that allows me to be both creative and innovative. I share my story of hope so that brothers in the trenches know how to cope. I use my voice as a weapon of choice to inspire black males with dyslexia to aspire and re-energize those who have been marginalized. Now society will hear my voice and others. That will give thousands of black males in special education a reason to rejoice. But even more important is to help see African American boys see their learning and attention issue as a superpower. Instead of saying learning disability, say different ability, we stigmatize kids inadvertently with the language we use. And I rejected that label because I knew that I could learn. And while many of my teachers focused on my deficits instead of my strengths, my 12th grade English teacher saw my high energy in talking as a strength instead of a deficit. She spoke with me one day after class and recommended that I join forensics and debate. Forensics helped me cultivate my public speech writing and speech writing abilities from a young age. So you see, there is so much talent out there. There are so many students in special education with great potential who have given up. But with black males, there is so much more at stake. There are cultural differences and cultural biases that white students may not face. And most days, my mind still feels like a beautiful curse. The ugliest of blessings. But my mom reminds me, no matter what your mind is, It's yours. So speak life into it. Thank you.